Views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Mercer University or WMUB. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Middle Georgia Spotlight. I'm your host, Jack Ellis. Thanks so much for joining us. The program is made possible by Caduceus Medicine and J. Franklin Automotives. Joining us in the spotlight this week is Pastor David Stanley, who is the senior pastor of Union Baptist Church here in Macon. As you know, we've been doing programs for the last 8 weeks, strictly dealing with the coronavirus and how it's affected different aspects of our lives. But we haven't dealt with how it's affecting the faith community, the religious community, if you will. So Pastor Stanley will be joining me on the first half of the program, talking about from a Christian's perspective. And on the second part of the program, Imam Adam, who is the Imam for the Warner Robins Islamic temple, I guess we'll call it here in Warner Robins. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Brother Jack, for being here. Commend you for a job well done, as always trying to deal with issues that are relevant, and I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you. Let me correct. I said the temple. That's the Hindu has a temple. The mosque. Okay. That's the mosque for the Muslim. But we'll talk to Imam Adam more about that. Wonderful. But why I wanted to talk to you, Pastor, because obviously these are some very uncertain times, times that we've never seen before, and a lot of people, all they have to hold on to is their faith. How has this tested your own faith as a pastor as you minister to your flock?
Allow me to say that it has been some very challenging times, not only for me, but pastors all over this country, black, white, various religious leaders. We're dealing with something that we've never seen in my 65 years of living as it relates to the pandemic. When we got word sometimes early March that it had landed here in our country in Washington State, and that it would not be long before Georgia started having to deal with it, we just didn't fathom that it was going to come to this, that we were going to end up having to close our churches down and try to go to another way of ministry. We had something like the bird flu, some H1N1, I don't know the exact terminology for it, some 8 or 9 years ago. I'm familiar with that because we had a lot of hand sanitizer.
But you didn't close the church.
Right, we didn't close the church. We stopped hugging for a little while. We stopped shaking hands for a little while. And then it was like it just passed off the scene, and we were able to go back to everything being normal. So that's kind of what I thought we were getting ready to deal with this time around. I said, okay, well, we've been through this, and we'll get through this one. Man, little did I know that we were going to be faced with the devastation of this pandemic, people dying left and right, church people just downright fearful.
Yeah. How has this affected your ministry? I mean, the souls are still there. They still look to you for leadership, albeit virtual. You know, and you normally would go by and visit the sick and shed in. You can't do that now. How has that changed the way you minister?
It has been a great change.
And a challenge, I'm sure.
As a challenge as well. Somebody once said, where there's a will, there's a way. And so we do thank God that we have been able to, myself and a few members, we go to the old sanctuary on Taylor Street, and we do a virtual worship, Facebook online, every Sunday morning at 10:45. Then we come back on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, and we do the same thing for Bible study, just myself and a handful of people. And that's what we're down to right now, and rightly so. Yeah. It would not even make sense to try to bring the members back to a sanctuary at this point, because they're going to be on edge. They're going to be nervous. I'm going to be nervous. My faith has not been shaken, but at the same time, I'm cautious. God don't give me permission to be foolish, so I have to respect this virus.
And he tells us how to deal with fear.
Right.
He is lean on him.
Right. I'm not going outside and beat my chest like I'm King Kong and act like the virus don't have any authority over me. I respect this virus.
Now, coming into this virus at the beginning of it, we had Easter. Now, we're in the middle of Ramadan. We're going to talk to the Imam about Ramadan, but Easter is probably, what they call them CMEs. People only go to church Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter, and you have Mother's Day right around the corner. But Easter is a time when, especially in the African American church, I'm not saying about other churches, but it's a time, very special time, especially for some of the older saints. How did you deal with Easter, not being able to have sunrise service, not being able to, all the other things that go along with Easter service?
It was a challenge. But I knew 3 weeks out, I knew 4 weeks out, once we adjourned our worship services as far as coming together collectively, I knew that Easter was not going to be as it has in the past. I knew we were going to have to do that service virtual, just like we had done some previous services. And even though, you're hurt, you recognize that hopefully it's just a one-time thing. You can deal with adversity when you know eventually you're going to overcome it. And so the fact that my church, along with churches all over this country, were not able to have the traditional Easter services and the festivities that we normally have, we just chalk it off as, okay, just this year. But we believe by this time next year, we will have gained control of this virus and we'll be able to get back to having church on a normal basis. But it hurt, but we recognize that at the same time, wisdom and caution prevailed. And even if we had been given the authority by the governor, the president, the mayor, to try to have Easter service, I would not have tried to go through with that because it's just too many people at risk.
You have a multi-generational church. You have young people, you have senior citizens my age and older, and some of us are afraid of computers, don't know how to do Zoom. And how have you been able to navigate that and still minister? Because a lot of this older saints, they find themselves by themselves, they're isolated, they tell people don't go visit them, and are you calling them, how are you communicating with them?
We're reaching out to all of our members by way of Facebook as well as by teleconference. And you're so right. And that's another painful thing about this pandemic is that even as we try to minister through Facebook and virtual services and technology, as you just said, there's a generation of people that are not onto that. They're not on Facebook. They're not on their cell phones other than just to make a few phone calls and receive a few phone calls. But we do have teleconference where they can dial a number, put in a passcode, and they can still hear the service. They can't view it, but they can hear it with their ears. So hopefully we're catching our senior citizens with teleconference. And all they have to do is, here again, call a number like a phone number and then put in an access code and they can hear everything that everybody else is seeing. Other than that, those are the only two ways you can reach out to them now.
Well, I think we can understand fear being among that group because if you look at the statistics, Albany, Atlanta, mostly African Americans have died of this disease. Not necessarily test positive, but died. Right now it's like 60+% of those who died are African American. A lot of reasons for that. So I'm sure there's a lot of fear. So what do you say to the broader community, the broader African American community, and those people in your congregation that has quote unquote pre-existing conditions they say that's more susceptible for this virus?
What I say to them is what others have said, and that is for those of us, and I'm included in that number, 65 and older, that probably have other health issues, we have to take it upon ourselves and be a lot more cautious. We can't pay attention to what we see on television when we see people flooding the beaches. We see a lot of people of both races going out now and trying to act like all is normal and all is well, and it's not. So I become the individual custodian of my soul, of my health, of my plight. And so I'm saying to everyone, in particular, that is of our culture, that's 65 and older, that have other health issues, you have to still be very careful with what's going on around you and not take for granted that this virus has gone, because it has not. Stay diligent, stay cautious, and just wait for that time when we can all go back out and try to be normal.
I know that you minister to the whole person, not just what you're going to do when you get to heaven, but how you live here on earth. So because of these pre-existing conditions, there's some responsibilities that some things have been revealed that we already knew, but they've been brought out into the front, the disparities in health. So we have to be forthright with our congregation and with our members and with the community at large that need to take a little bit better care of yourself.
Yeah. Personal accountability. Some things.
Not blaming the victim here, but I'm just saying.
And I agree with you. Some things we can say push off on others, entities or what have you, and say that's the reason. But it's my fault. And I use this illustration with my church all the time, because a few years ago I had a severe bladder infection. That thing was nothing to play with. And I make them aware. I made the choice to go in the refrigerator and drink a canned Coke rather than water, H2O. And it caught up with me. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So now I recognize that I need to drink far more water than I do, these beverages and things that taste much better.
And encourage your parishioners to do the same.
Right. So we become, here again, we become the custodians of this body that God blessed us with. Now let me say this, I don't know how much time we have left. This body that I dwell in, my soul occupy, it has no heavenly value. I'll get a new body based on the Bible and Christianity. But it's a gift to God, from God to me. And it's my responsibility to take care of it while I'm on earth. So perhaps I can get 80 or 90 years out of it. I gotta eat right. I gotta rest, I gotta exercise, I gotta drink water, and things of that nature.
And hopefully de-stress.
Don't
be so stressed out.
So we are responsible. Ultimately, we're responsible for what we go to the grocery store and buy. We're responsible for the hamburgers and the French fries and the things that we load up on. We're responsible. For not eating vegetables and fruit like we should.
Well, hopefully this has brought some things to the front, not only for the community at large, but the community that's affected. Now we've got 2 minutes left here, but we have Mother's Day right before us.
Yes,
Sunday
sir.
coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you going to deal with Mother's Day? How will it be different than, because the ladies like to put those big hats on Mother's Day. So all that, but I mean, I don't make light of it, because I always look forward to Mother's Day. And one time that I always went to, not one time, but that was one time that I went to church with my mother on Mother's Day. So what are you saying to your parishioners to celebrate Mother's Day?
There were certain Sundays that all pastors was told they better preach on that Sunday unless they somewhere half dead. Easter, we've already talked about Easter, and Mother's Day was another one. And unfortunately, this time around, due to the pandemic, Mother's Day is going to have to take the same route that Easter did, and that is we can't come together collectively as a church family. We're going to do our best to provide some Mother Day flavor with our worship service this Sunday that we're going to do virtual. But otherwise, it's going to take the same route that Easter. It's just, we're going to miss it.
Well, Pastor, let me thank you very much for sharing with us here on the Middle Georgia Spotlight, and people around the world who will watch this on YouTube. And if you subscribe to us on YouTube, we ask that you, if you don't subscribe to us on YouTube, share the YouTube because some good information we're trying to share with people, not only here in Macon and Middle Georgia, but around the world. So we thank you very much and wish you all the best, and I know you will be prayerful and keep looking over your flock, no matter whether they're 90 or whether they're 19.
Amen.
So we thank you. We've been talking with Pastor David Stanley, who is the senior pastor of Union Baptist Church here in Macon, Georgia. And stay right where you are. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Imam Adam, who is the chief imam, or the senior imam of the Warner Robins Mosque here in Middle Georgia. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Middle Georgia Spotlight. We're now joined by Imam Adam Fofana, who is the senior imam of the Middle Georgia Islamic Center, which is located in Warner Robins, but it serves the entire Houston County, I guess the entire Middle Georgia area, but it's located in Warner Robins. Thank you so much, Imam, for joining me here today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, we're in the middle of Ramadan.
Correct.
We've gone through Easter, Passover during this pandemic, and now we're into Ramadan, which is a very holy month, if you will. No, not that Easter and Passover is not holy, but we know that that this is a time that Muslims come together, they pray all day, come together in the evening. How has this affected Ramadan?
First of all, let me offer my prayer and my condolences and my thought for the families that are going through some difficult time now, and for those of our fellow citizens who has died as a result of this pandemic. For us as a Muslim community, as you know, Ramadan is a huge time for us to come together, not only to pray, but to share the meal. Every evening is like celebration. You spend the whole day fasting, and when it's evening time to break the fast, children, adults, men, women, black, white, everybody come together. And our community is very diversified. We have everybody. You can count people from over 50 nationality. And now you imagine the dish coming on your table from different, location of the world is a huge time for us. But because of this pandemic, we suspended everything. It started with Friday prayer. I have the first Friday I have to go and put note on the doors, tell people, sorry, please, today we are not going to hold Friday congregation. I'll go back home and I will virtually communicate with you and broadcast the Friday, but it's not safe for us to come to the mosque. And that was very big for the community, they could not understand. But it was the right thing to do, because every religion, Islam included, human life is very important, and taking care of human life, human protection, human safety. So from Friday now come to daily prayer, and then Ramadan came in the middle of it. So we again send a note to people. There will be no Taraweeh prayer, there will be no iftar, there will be no, and even Eid is coming, which is to celebrate the ending of Ramadan. It's a huge thing for the Muslims. But the way I'm looking at it, we will not be able to hold the Eid even in our sanctuaries. So it has affected us very.
How, in the Bible, in the Holy Bible, in the Old Testament, last week we had the Mayor Warner Robins on the program, and he's a minister. Okay. He's an ordained minister. And he spoke about how in the book of Psalms 53:7, I think he said, how it tells people to lean to God when there's fear. What does the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, what does he say about times like this? How do we conduct ourselves?
See, our religion, especially Abrahamic tradition, which is Islam, Christianity, Judaism, we have so many things in common. Those verses, not only you will find them in the Bible, but also you will find them in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, Surah Al-An'am, He said, فَلَوْلَا إِذْ جَاءَهُمْ بَأْسُنَا تَضَرَّعُوا. He said, when God, calamity and pandemic like this, you are tested with it, if you could lean to God and turn to Him, because He's in control. As you and I are speaking now, our planet Earth is moving at the speed of 67,000 miles per hour. You and I have no effort to do that, so God is in control. And He said, had you turned to God and don't lose your faith at this time. This is the time to hold on your faith strongly and have trust in God that this thing, God is in our side. We are human. God loves us. And that's why He put us in the first place. He wants us to be here. And He is providing unbelievable protections, through our immune system, through system that you and I doesn't even know or realize, that to sustain us and to protect us and to keep us here. Yes, few of us and some of us, at this time it's not just few, but large number. Over 3 million people have, been confirmed coronavirus positive, and over right now 300,000 people have died. Nothing has affected human life like this in my time, in your time. So it's a huge challenge for us. But God said He is in control. Do not lose your faith. As we are battling with our doctors, our soldiers and nurses and healthcare people, God is working also behind the scene. And it's going to take both sides to declare the victory over this coronavirus.
So now, not only have in this country, we have, of course, Europe and other places, the social distance, things are closed, but the Hajj, normally the pilgrimage to the most holy city,
yes.
and Islam, to Mecca,
Yes.
that has been canceled as well this year?
Hajj, we don't have any confirmation for that yet, but for the first time in my lifetime, that the holy mosques in Mecca and Medina were shut down. Yes.
The first time?
For the first time. For the first time in my life. I never seen that place never stop. 24 hours, 7 days a week, day and night. You wake up middle of the night, you go to the holy mosque, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning somewhere else. It's full. And in Ramadan, it's packed. People travel all over the world, to go there and worship God and be closer to God. But at this time, because of this coronavirus, no, it was shut down. Now they start slowly reopening as countries start easing. But Hajj is not here yet. Ramadan has been very difficult to see that happening. It breaks your heart to see things like that. But Hajj, we are 3 months from the time of the Hajj, and I'm praying to the Almighty God that by then, the whole world will see some relief to this.
Now, you have your, I guess, congregation, if you will, your mosque. You have people from all parts of the world, from Pakistan, from Africa, from America, all coming together. And as we talked to Pastor Stanley earlier, how he's trying to keep in touch virtually and try to give spiritual guidance. Are you having the same challenges communicating with your members via whatever devices you have? Are you still having prayer in that manner, or how are you worshiping these days?
Yes, this coronavirus has taught us in some important lessons, and I will tell my congregation and everyone that, sometimes people think God is kept in the temple, in the church, or in the mosque. It's not. Mosques, churches, synagogue, and temple are place for people to come together to show the love for God. But God is not kept there. So this coronavirus really came to prove that. When we said, sorry, your safety is so important, stay home, we find another way how to reach out to those people. Like Pastor Stanley was saying, thank God that we are living in this age of technology. So you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have YouTube, you have WhatsApp, and you have telephone. Before, all this technology become the reality of the life now. So every single night I broadcast my prayer online, live. And members of the community really appreciate this, that they are the comfort of their home, applying all the safety measures, but at the same time, prayer is right here, it's right in front of them. All they have to do, use that device, your phone, or connect it to your TV or your computer, and everything is amazing, Mario. I mean, some people, even inside the mosque building, that I will not have that communication, direct communication with them, I'm able to communicate with them. They tend to send text message, I'm able to respond to them. They request prayer, I'm able to offer that prayer immediately. So technology has helped us tremendously. And we are broadcasting Friday khutbah, Taraweeh prayer, Fajr prayer, early morning when we wake up to eat our morning meal, Suhoor, we call Suhoor, and Fajr prayer. And after that, I will give some spiritual thought to the members of the community that enrich them. Because part of fighting this coronavirus is to build the immune system.
Yeah.
And fasting does that, spiritually does that. Now, if you give up,
prayer is important too.
Yes, prayer is very important. If you give up on those things, then you are helping. These you are on the other side. You must have that to fight back, and we are able to deliver to our community members virtually at this time.
So if you have to, we have about a minute left, if you have one word to say to the community at large, not just the Islamic community, but the whole community, about faith and about fear and about, just getting on the other side of this, what would be your words of encouragement?
My word would be that, hey, we are human. If this is to teach us anything, is to teach us our essence of humanity. This virus, when it came, it did not look, who is white, who is black, who is Muslim, who is Christian, who is Jew, who is Hindu. He just attacked humanity. I mean, from China all the way to United States. I mean, so we have to be united. We have to come together, to work together, and build up our arsenal. Now, when I say arsenal, at this time, it's not military arsenal. It's humanistic arsenal. Our medical, our healthcare system, because we didn't know we have an enemy that can come and kill 300,000 of us in just 3 months.
Yeah.
And we are struggling even to find out how to battle this. So the future is there, and we are human, we are strong. We have defeated many viruses in the past. We're going to defeat this one, and we're going to be here.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've been talking with Pastor Imam Adam Fofana. Fofana.
Yes.
Excuse me.
You're welcome.
Fofana, he is the senior Imam of the Islamic Center of Middle Georgia, located at Warner Robins. And let me wish you Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Till next week, be safe, keep your distance. We are 6 feet apart. Keep your distance, wash your hands, be safe, be prayerful. Until next week, I'm your host, Jack Ellis. Goodbye.